So let's get started with our practice today. I'm going to be sharing with you the fable of the porcupine. And this was a fable that was introduced to us by a German philosopher. I believe his name was Arthur Schopenhauer. Hope I'm saying that right. And so let me just share this with you, and especially in light of where we've been lately during this COVID-19. We're 8 weeks into it, and we've been living in close quarters with people or working closely with a certain number of people. So just think about your world and how this porcupine story might resonate with you. So it was one of the coldest winters ever, and many of the animals were dying because of the cold. And the porcupines, realizing the situation, decided to group together. This way they covered and protected themselves. But the quills of each one wounded their closest companions, even though they gave off heat to support each and keep each other warm. After a while, they decided to distance themselves from the other, and then they began to die because they were too cold and they were freezing. So they had to make a choice, either accept the quills of their companions or disappear from the earth. Wisely, they decided to go back to being together. This way, they learned to live with the little wounds that were caused by the close relationship with their companion. But the most important part of it was the heat that came from the collective heat they generated by bonding together. This way, they were able to survive and flourish. So you might be thinking for yourself in this past week or 8 weeks or even beyond, this happens all the time. Did you get needled by someone, or did you needle or poke someone? Did you invoke or trigger a reaction? And if we're honest, it might not be this last week, but we do hurt each other. We often aren't aware of other people's needs, and we step on each other, and we don't really notice how much the other person many times is needing to feel appreciated or seen or heard. And we do prick each other. And for the sake of our collective well-being and freedom, evolution has given us the capacity to find ways to work out conflicts and the wounding. And it doesn't always happen, but we do have the capacity to do that. Not long ago, I noticed my reaction at my house with my husband and how I poked him, and it was not necessary. And I'm so grateful for the practices of yoga and meditation, because right the minute I did it, I was like, whoa, what happened there? Did you see what you did? And was that really necessary? And I felt bad about it, and later was able to say something like, oof, that was not good of me. It was not kind of me, and I'm sorry. And so notice today in your practice, in every yoga practice, that's what we're doing. We're practicing for life. What poses prick us or needle us? What poses bring up our reactive tendencies? So we'll explore and play with this today in our practice. So let's take a moment to center. So I invite you to close your eyes and just let yourself come into this place of practice, where we get to practice being awake and aware. We get to practice noticing and listening to our bodies and our minds, our thought patterns. With eyes closed, just begin to feel the natural cadence of your breath. Relax through your neck and your shoulders and your arms. Feel your strong spine supporting you in an upright position. Feel your steady, strong pelvis and legs giving you support. And then in this position, for just a few moments, do a very subtle rocking, like side to side. So it's just really subtle. It's like you're just exploring away from your center space, a little to the left, a little to the right. And then see if you can drift back to the place of what feels like center and find stillness there for a few moments. Awake and aware of your breath. As we practice this morning, you would be aware of any triggers or anything that causes a reactive tendency within our poses, within our thought patterns. These are great teachers, these triggers, these reactive tendencies, if we start to look into them. Bring the hands together in front of your heart center and just simply bow. Bow to this beautiful morning. Bow to the blessing of being able to practice yoga in a healthy body. And we ask that the practice be infused with grace, and then lifting your head, release your hands, let your eyes open. So we'll begin here. I'm going to move on back to my mat, just adjust this real quick, and away we go. So from time to time, I'll come up here and just check to make sure we're still connected. And if for some reason it happens, we disconnect, just chat to me that you're gone. Oh, thanks, Brandy, that's funny. And hi, Kathy, welcome. The real moral of this story, of the porcupine story, it says at the bottom, is to learn to love the pricks in your life. Now that means the pokes, right? We're not calling people that, but I thought it was funny. We all have those people that poke us a little bit more. Some of them we know, and some of them are more of acquaintances. Okay, so let's start in a standing position, and I'm just gonna get a little bit cooler here and go into a standing position. And we'll start with standing cat-cow. So face your feet as wide as the mat, and then bend your knees and bring your hands onto your thighs. Look down at the feet, feel that firm foundation, and when you inhale, begin to extend and look up. When you exhale, we go into the rounded position. Inhale, looking on up, and exhale, slowly round. So continue a couple more times and see if you can slow it down even just a little bit more. Initiating from the tailbone, and let that just trickle up your spine, head lifts last. And then start from the tailbone again as you go under and round. One more time. And this time we'll hold in the rounded position. Bring your arms up in a cactus pose here as you're looking down at the floor. Shift your weight to your left foot and just slide your right leg in closer and pick the foot off the floor. So you're in a rounded cat back position, looking down, cactus arms. Maybe we'll call this porcupine. Imagine your quills sticking up on your back here. Good, place your foot down. Inhale, reach up, stretch really high, and then exhale, slowly circle your arms back and come back down. Bend your knees once again. Inhale, glide forward into cow pose. Exhale, round and tuck. We're going to hold this tuck. Shift the weight to the right foot and bring your arms to cactus. We're looking down, slide your left leg in, and you can keep your toes on the floor here if you want, or lift. Finding a stable balance here. In porcupine pose, I guess we'll call it. Bring the foot back down. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, open the arms. Your legs are still semi-wide here, and come down to your first forward bend. Holding there in forward bend. Check in with what's going on this morning. And then just slightly walk your hands over to your left foot. Just a little bit over there and round your spine, look inside. And then walk on over to the other side. Again, around and look inside. And your feet are just about as wide as your mat still. I happen to go a little too wide there. And then come back to the center. Again, let your shoulders, encourage them to release down towards your ears, let the crown of your head release towards the floor. Just taking this first part of our practice to continue to arrive and be more present here. And then from that position, you're going to bend your knees and bring your hands onto your thighs, and then slowly make your way on out to standing. We're going to do some back breath here that will help mobilize our upper back here and get some prana flowing. So we're going to take the arms forward in a rounded position and look inward. Inhale, fill up your back. And then exhale, open the arms, lift the chest, and just a slight lift of your gaze. Inhale, round, back breath. Exhale, open. 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale, open. Inhale, close. Exhale, open and hold open this time. Just lift straight up, look straight forward. Shift the weight to the left foot and lift the right leg up in front of you. Ooh, and fall over. Bring the right foot down, anchor it, lift the left leg. Just holding your arms out to the sides if possible. And release. Good. Interlace the hands behind your back. Roll the shoulders back, slide the throat back, please. And then just lift the chest ever so slightly. And focus on fuller breath into the back of your body just as much as the front of your body. If you know Ujjayi breath, go ahead and utilize that, or that sound resonates in the back of your throat. Very calming, centering, focused breath. And then from here, please bend your knees, lay your chest on your thighs, let your head release. And you're certainly welcome to grab a belt here if that feels better in your hands, your shoulders, your arms. Let your head release as you breathe. Open through the chest and the shoulders. You might even lean to the left a little and look up. And then lean over to the right and look up. Arrive back in the center. Release your hands down and just let your head release. Making your way back to your first downward facing dog. Firmly stabilize your hands and then just alternate slow pedal of the legs. Favorite way to check in and just start to feel sensations through the legs. And then please lower your knees as you widen them to the outer edges of your mat. Touch the big toes. Sitting back to child's pose. And rest the hands under your forehead. And just let yourself pause here. Nice, slow, deep breath. Maybe the situation that we've been living in or you have going on in your own world has been kind of pokey lately. Maybe you've felt a little uncomfortable. It's okay to recognize that. Maybe it's caused you to poke other people. And then lifting on up, let's do a diagonal child's pose. Walk your hands over to your right side, separate your hands, shoulder width apart, and then just shift your hips a little more over to the left as you bow and look inside. Feel your armpits rising, your arm bones rise, but your chest releasing down. And now walk over to the second side, please. Walk across, let your hands be shoulder width apart. Hips press to the right. On your inhale, the arm bones rise. On your exhale, the chest releases. And then rise and come all the way up. So we're going to flip onto our back here to do a hip warmer-upper. I just made that up. We're going to warm up your hip, mobilize your hip. I learned this from a friend of mine who's a physical therapist. It doesn't feel like you're doing much at all, but it's really, really beneficial to warm up the orbit in the hip. So I think I might, I don't know, maybe go diagonally here to show you this. So you're going to bend your knees. There's going to be 3 positions. You'll be laying on your back. I just want to show you with one leg here. So when I say let the leg fall out, it will just go out to its normal capacity. We're not trying to force it. You're on the edge of the foot and then you'll slide the leg out. We'll call that extension. You're going to extend the leg. Then you just rotate your toes to face the ceiling and pull it back in. So it's open, it's extend, foot up and back in. All right? So on your back, all the way down, bend both knees. Take a moment to level your pelvis. So that means don't press your low back into the floor, but a little lumbar curve would be a better place. Now with your right leg, just let it fall out wherever it's going to go, and then slide the leg out to full extension. Rotate your toes to face the ceiling and draw the heel back in. So it should be very gentle. Open the leg out again, slide it out straight, rotate it up, and bring it back in. One more time. Open the leg out, slide it out, turn the toes up, and bring it back in. Let's do that on the second side. Open the left leg out, slide it out straight, rotate the toes to the ceiling, and draw the leg back in. See if you can do this without moving your pelvis. Open the leg out, slide straight, turn the toes up, bring it back in. Last time, let the leg fall out, stretch it long, toes face up, and bring it back in. Hold here now, moving into waking up the core. We've got lots of core strengthening coming down the pipes today. So lift your right leg on up, put your right hand on it, and then just press gently the leg into the hand and the hand gently into the leg. Holding there, gentle bracing, and just check in. Is my back, is there still a little space under my low back? See if you can maintain that. Good, right foot down, let's do the left side. Lift it on up. Press the hand against the leg and the leg back against the hand. You might feel some deep activation kicking in inside here. And release. Now we're going to do a cross pattern. Lift your right leg up again without tucking the pelvis. Take your left hand across and put it on the thigh, same thing. Just press the leg back into the hand and holding. And release down. So the second side, keep your pelvis neutral, place the hand and press the hand and the leg together. Good, and please release. Stretch both legs long on the mat. Take your arms over your head, big full body stretch. And then squeeze your legs towards each other, hug them firmly. Now inhale, bring the arms over your chest. We're going to roll up to our feet slowly. Roll up through your body, through your spine, all the way up and over. Give a gentle stretch forward. And then make your way on up. Flipping around onto our front side. Still warming up through the core. Come onto your forearms. Your elbows are under your shoulders, legs are long and extended. And from here, we're going to do two different actions. So first, I want you to draw your elbows back towards your feet and stretch forward. Just open through the front line of the body. And now we'll begin gentle bowing action. So draw your chin down towards your chest. Feel how your ribs are going to start to move back. And then start to lift your pelvis off the ground and your thighs. So you're still on your knees. You're looking down between your elbows. And hold here, drawing your elbows and your knees towards each other. Elbows are dragging back, the knees are trying to drag forward. And you might feel a grand awakening, or perhaps a sense of poking, like, ooh, something's waking me up there. I don't like it. Or maybe you do like it. Good, lower your thighs back down, your pelvis down, and then start to lift upward into Sphinx pose. Draw the elbows back, heart forward. Careful not to crank the head up like this. Just look straight out so you have a long back of your neck. Let's do that one more time. Bow, chin towards chest, feel your ribs go back. The pelvis starts to lift, the thighs lift, and then as you're holding here, the elbows are trying to draw back firmly. Knees are trying to pull forward. It's like you're trying to scrunch your mat together. Holding for 4, 3, 2, 1, and release on down. Once again, come forward into Sphinx pose. Just drawing the elbows back, looking straight ahead. Awesome. And then from here, please roll onto your left side. Come onto your left forearm. While we're here, we're going to bend the top leg back and just bring the heel towards your bottom. So as you know, many of you have been taking classes here for a long time. When we talk about hip openers, it means we have to address all the muscles around the hip, not just the side of the hip here, but the quadriceps, the hamstrings, everything that attaches to the pelvis. So that's what we'll be focusing on today, interspersed with core strength. And then release and roll to your other side. Sorry, I'm going to have my back to you for just a moment. And bring your left leg on up. Draw the heel towards the bottom. Feel how you have to use your core here to remain stable. And then please roll back onto your stomach. Adjust your hands back by your chest. We're going to move to downward facing dog as a transition, so come all the way up and through. And now moving into that first movement sequence where we go a little more deeply into the hips. Please step your left leg forward, left leg up between your hands, and just pause here for a moment. Look at your front foot, turn the foot out. Turn it out, feel what happens in your hip. You might feel something, you might not. Just notice that you're externally rotating your foot out. And then turn the foot back straight. Lower the back knee down. Inhale, stretch up to Anjaneyasana. Drag your back knee forward. And then exhale, touch back down. Lift your pelvis up, and you might want to take your blocks if you have them and place them on either side of your front ankle. as we go into the hamstring here. So you're gonna straighten both legs. Bring your right hip forward slightly. And then just lengthen your spine on out over. Again, if you have your blocks, you can use them on either side of your ankle like this. Handy dandy there. And pause here for 2 breaths. And now bending the front leg, step back, downward facing dog. Take a moment to establish a strong foundation with your hands. Lift your seat nice and high. Now please step your right leg up between your hands. Pause and deep lunge. First thing we're going to do is just turn the front foot out. Just rotate it out wherever it's comfortable. You don't have to overdo it. But externally rotate. Way up here in the hip, ball and socket joint. We just made a change. Rotate it. And now take the foot back forward. Lower your back knee down. Inhale, stretch all the way up to Anjaneyasana. Press the back knee down intentionally and draw it forward. And exhale, touch down. Now, if you want to use your blocks, have them on either side of your front ankle. Lift the pelvis up into pyramid pose. Be really intentional with your front foot. Anchor the right inner heel and big toe side of the foot. And draw your left hip bone forward slightly. And then stretch your spine long. And press energy from your strong abdomen down through your core, through your legs, into your feet, so you're firmly grounded. Notice what each posture brings up for you. And then from here, bend the front leg and step forward. Pausing here for a moment in a nice forward bend. Let your head shake out. Let your shoulders relax and soften towards your ears. It's Saturday. Bring the hands onto your hips. Lift your shoulders. Rise nice and slow. All the way up to standing. Awesome. All right, so we'll be doing a little bit of a balance series here. You're so welcome to hold your wall at home, have one nearby, or use a block. And it will have this standing baby cradle or figure 4. So we'll bend and then we'll cross the leg over. And what I want to see if you can do today is keep your pelvis stable. So it's not like we're lifting the hip and crossing over, but see if you can even maybe put your hands here to stabilize your pelvis. So the leg learns to lift and rotate out as you cross it over. So your left leg, go ahead and cross your left leg over, and then bend your standing leg and hands can come to the heart center. And just hips go back, pausing here, standing baby cradle, the top foot is flexed. This is a nice little warm up here. Warm up, balance and warm up, outer rotator opener. And then come back up and release. Let's do the second side. So again, see if you can keep your hips stable and then lift the leg slowly, rotate it out, cross over, and then sit back. Hands can come to the heart center. Yeah. Working on stability, balance, strength. And notice in the balance postures, I have students tell me all the time, they either love balance poses or they don't quite love them. And the pose is like a little prick to them, like, I'm not good at it, you're not good at that. It's not about being good, right? It's about just keep trying. And then come up to standing. All right, release. Going back to the first leg, hands will stay at the heart. We're gonna do our best to keep the hips level, and this time the leg's just gonna sweep behind you. So find whatever point you want to remain at to balance. You can keep drifting forward and lifting the leg, or you can stop. I like to put a little tiny bend in my standing knee, and you just explore what feels right for you. And now release. Find your way on up. Let's do the second side. You're using core there too. You can feel that, right? The whole torso is activated. Stand on your right foot, hands to the heart, little bend in your standing knee, and then just start here slowly. It's good to hang out, just get your bearings, get your balance. Make sure your back, your left gluteal is really active. Your back heel feels like it's kicking up to the ceiling. Many times I just focus on my back heel in this pose. Just back heel pressing up, pressing up, pressing up. Falling over, falling over, falling over. And don't give up, don't give up. And come into standing. All right. So we're going to combine those two together and then move on from there. So bend your knees for a moment, and let's just do a stretch here. So keep your hands on your thighs. Your right leg, just stretch your right leg straight. So push your right hip back. Even take your right arm up and twist. That should feel good. And then bring your arm down to the other side. So keep your right leg bent, left leg straighten, and push the left hip back. And then twist to your left. Arm can go up, or you can keep it on your hip too here. Good. And come back center and stand up. All right, so let's add those two together and add a few more hip openers with that. So we'll bend the knees. We're going to be keeping the pelvis stable and lift the left leg first. So here we go. Lift the left leg up, rotate it out. Bring the heel in. Sit back. Pause here. Squeeze your inner thighs towards each other. Breathing. And stay low as you slide the leg off and back behind you. Start to stretch it straight. Draw up through your strong core. Now this time, we're going to be reaching down to the floor. So reach down and land on the blocks or the floor. And then slowly stretch the leg back, and you'll come into a deep lunge position. So holding here in deep lunge. And now we'll go into humble pose. So lower the back knee. Please walk your front foot over to the right side of your mat. Both arms come to the inside. You're welcome to put a block or two underneath your forearm, left forearm here, and let the head bow. Excuse me. Pause here, really sinking down deeply into the right heel. I'm just going to check make sure that we're still together here. Yep, looks like it. Good. One more breath there, please. And then start to lift your torso, lift your back leg, step back to downward facing dog. Let's take a little vinyasa flow here. Inhale forward to plank, hold in plank. Use your strong core muscles, your strong arms and legs. Back of the head lifted, and then slowly lower down. Inhale into cobra. Those shoulders roll back. Exhale, lower. Pushing back, downward dog, up you go. And walk the hands back to the feet. Hands to the hips. Please take the shoulder blades snug on the back as you come up. And then we'll progress to the second side, proceed to the second side. Hands to heart center, bend. Shift the weight to the left foot. Lift the right leg, cross it over. Have a little seat. Now take the right leg back behind you. Go slow, you can stay right here even. You don't have to go too deep. Just explore what feels right for you. Back heel kicking up. We're going to reach down to the floor or your blocks. And then extend your right leg way, way back as you come into a deep lunge position. Pause here, deep lunge. And now we go to humble pose. Lower the back leg down. Both arms to the inside. Again, you can use your block under your right elbow if you'd like. And really let your head get heavy. Let it fall downward. Just pause and fall inward to your breath. And then lifting on up through your torso. Bring your arms on either side, lift your back leg, and step forward to forward bend. Inhale, swing the arms this time. Reach forward and up, little back bend. Hands to heart center. And pause. Just pause in Tadasana for a moment, feel your breath. Feel your aliveness. And now we'll transition onto our backs for another set of specifically abdominal core strength. So come down. This time if you have a block, that would be helpful. If not, you certainly can still do this. Sometimes it's nice just to hold on to something here. So the target is going to be your feet. You may or may not touch the feet, but that's the target. So you'll take the legs straight out and the arms, the block comes over. So I know what it's like doing Zoom classes. You just take a peek up at your screen for just a second. This is where you're going. Every time you lift your arms and your torso, a leg will come up and you may or may not touch the toe. It doesn't matter, but then you switch sides. Okay, so that's where we're going. Now let's start together. Legs strong, arms are hovering above the floor there. So we're going to take an inhale, lift your head and arms and lift your right leg up and down. And now left side. And down. Keep going. Exhale through your mouth as you lift up. Drawing navel towards spine. And really try to lift your shoulders off the floor if you can. Upper back. 2 more. Here comes 1. Here comes 2. And release. Put the block on your belly or just put your hands on your belly. Pause and feel your breath. Let your belly be soft. And now next we'll put the block between your feet. And if you don't have a block, again, you can just pretend like you're hugging on something or put a pillow there if you'd like. So put the block right between your inner feet. And then legs are going to go straight up. The hands now, you're going to interlace your thumbs. So it looks like you've got little bat wings here. And then take the arms over your head, but the hands are not touching the floor. The arms are hovering. So it's like your upper arms are framing your ears. Pull your thumbs apart. Draw your shoulder blades on your back. And now just start to explore your legs drifting out. What I'm looking for here is that you're not overarching your low back. So if you start to overarch or you feel excessive strain, then that's your stopping point. Don't go past that. You don't want the back to overarch or you feel too much strain. And then bring it back up. Bring your arms up this time too. So now they both go away from each other. Here we go. So just explore the arms going one way, the thumbs pulling out. Notice your low back, don't overarch. Feel your core kicking in. And bring it back up. Whew. One more. Here we go. Pull the thumbs apart. Elbows can bend a little. Legs are drifting away from the arms. Arms are drifting away. Find your stopping point. And bring it back up. Release the block. Bring your feet to the ground. And you can just place the block off to the side. All right, at the beginning of class we did one-legged bracing. Now we'll do two-legged. So lift both legs up. Oh, first of all, make sure you have that little pocket of space under your low back. So you're really heavy on your sacrum here, that low, low, low portion of your spine. Bring both legs up, flex your feet, and place your hands lightly, lightly on your thighs. And then begin to press your legs into your hands and a slight resistance back with your hands. Please don't overdo this. Should be mild. I'm just holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Toes down to the ground. Pause and arch the back a little bit more here. Just create a little more stretch or space there. And then let's bring the legs up second time. See if we can hold it for a good 10 counts this time. So here we go. Press forward for 10, 9, 8. Legs are resisting. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release down. Open the legs out this time to butterfly as we start to address the inner rim of the hip. Inner thighs. Pause and feel your breath. Give yourself permission to soften. So many of us have been on edge lately for good reason. Our nervous systems have been in fight or flight mode. We can get edgy when there's lots and lots of uncertainty and fear. And then that's when we often start to, our little quills come out, like on the porcupine. And we say things and do things that we don't really mean to. And then bring your legs on back together here. And one more bracing. So this time we're going to cross our wrists. So lift your legs back up. Put your hands on the inside of your legs and your inner thighs. And then press out with your hands, but squeeze in with your legs at the same time. And lift your head and shoulders up if that feels okay. So you're trying to press your legs out, but your legs are saying nope. They're pressing back in, and you're lifting and holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release down. Awesome. Bring your knees into your chest here. Give yourself a snug hug. Deep breath. And then however you want to come up to a seated position, you can turn to your side and press up, or you can rock and roll on up, however you want to get there. Swing your legs around behind you and come into all fours position. Move anything that's in your side area here out of the way. I'm going to swivel, and if you have sensitive knees, just put an extra cushion of maybe a blanket or towel there. I'm going to have your legs go to the right and then over to the left. Just a couple times. So legs go to the right, legs go to the left. Legs go to the right and stop and extend the top leg out. Bring it back in. Legs go to the left, stop, bring the leg out. bring it back in. All right, so let's add on. Just want you to be able to do that fluidly. So we're gonna swing the legs to the right, top leg out, and open to side plank. Stretch, open the front line of the body, lean back a little, and then we'll just flow right into the other side. So come down, swivel your legs to the left, extend your top leg, open the arm. Pause there, breathe and enjoy. And then we'll come down and swivel to the other side. So here come the legs. Top leg on out. Open the top arm up. Lean back a little more this time. Breathe. And come back through when you're ready. Swivel the legs. Open on up. Big opening. And back down. Oh, it should feel really good. So from here, lift to downward facing dog. And then step your left leg up between your hands. Left leg comes up. Step your right leg up. We're ending up at the front of our mat now. And swing your arms forward to lift on up. And hands meet up at the heart center. And just feel yourself coming alive on Saturday morning. All right, 2 more balance postures. One is tree and one is airplane. So some similarities to what we did before. So tree pose is actually a hip opener. So we'll use it in that way today. So how about I face you on the first one. So you're gonna stand on your, I'm gonna face this way, I changed my mind. Stand on your right leg and bring your left leg up into tree, wherever your tree position is. See if you can keep the pelvis stable as you bring your foot up or higher, you choose. And hands to heart center for this variation. Press the thigh and the foot firmly together and a nice length up through the spine. Press the palms firmly together, let the elbows open. And see if you can find a place of semi-steadiness. There's always going to be some movement. Awesome. And are you ready? Let's shift sides now. Switch on over. So stand on your other leg and lift your other leg, whatever leg that is, and go low. So you can keep the pelvis level so it's not lifting up, like I just showed you there. Just trying to find a little peace and equanimity here in this posture. Even if you're holding a wall, go ahead and hold a wall if you need to. Tune into the sound of your breath, perhaps. Clearing judgments and doubts out of the mind here. Just smile if you start to fall over. All right, and release. And now airplane pose. So you'll stand on your left leg. Arms come out like airplane wings. And the leg is like what we did in Warrior 3. So arms come out, draw up through your abdomen, ribs back, and then a little bend in the standing knee. And then just start to explore. Are you flying upward? Are you flying straight out? Maybe not nosedive, don't go down. Just see where you're at here. You can put your fingertips on a wall too. The wall happens to be here for me, so I'm just using it. And stand on up, release your arms. Let's do the second side. Firm foundation. Arms float up. Extend the leg behind you as you're ready. And rise. Come up. All right, so we just marry those two together and then add on from there. So standing on your left leg, let me see, we were just on the left leg. Stand on your right leg. Let's start in tree pose, and then from tree right to airplane. So bend in the standing leg. Bring your left leg into your tree, wherever a tree feels right for you, hands at the heart center. Let's set the arms out. Put your wings out first, and then take your left leg back. Go slow. There might be turbulence. Extend. Use your core. Draw up through the core. And now reach back long and reach down to the floor again and come into a deep lunge. Hold here in deep lunge. And now the front foot, we did this earlier, turn the front foot out. You might even want to have a block here under your left hand, can be helpful. And then look at your back foot. You're going to pick up the foot briefly and hop to the little toe side of the back foot. So the toes are going to turn inward and you're holding here. Front foot turned out, back foot just turned in. And then you can put your hand on your hip and twist. And you might feel some awakening deep in the hip here. If it's too much, you don't have to turn the back toes inward. You can go on the ball of the foot still. You can keep your hand on your hip or extend. Ooh, you can even straighten your front leg a little bit or pulsate with it. That's always an interesting feeling. Ooh. And then slowly make your way arm down. You're going to hop back to the ball of the back foot. And now we'll go into warrior two. So drop your back heel down. Come up slowly into this beautiful posture that opens the hips, strengthens the legs. See if you can go nice and deep into the front leg. Virabhadrasana 2. Breathing. And then slowly fold down. Touch the ground. Come onto the ball of your back foot, please, and step back to downward facing dog. Lower your knees. Let's take a child's pose here. Just let that all sink in on that side. Sitting back to child's pose and drop inward to your breath. Maybe a slow breath in and open the mouth as you exhale so you can hear it. One more deep breath. Extending your arms, lifting back up now, downward facing dog. And then slowly walk your hands back to your feet. Hands on the hips, lift the shoulders, and rise. Step forward, and we'll do all of that on the other side. Tree to airplane, to the lunge with a twist. So we're gonna bring the right leg up into your tree pose, wherever that might be. Hands to heart center. And then we set the arms out first. Here comes airplane. And take your leg behind you. Don't let any of these poses poke you. Just smile at your reaction. If you get frustrated, just smile at that. It's okay. And now we're going to reach down to the mat and step back. I always have to adjust my front foot forward here a little bit. And now turn your front foot to the left, externally rotate. If the block was helpful last time, put it under your right hand. You're going to hop to the little toe side of your back foot, left hand on your hip, and then just start to turn and twist. We jokingly have called this big old butt stretch. It definitely gets into the glute region. Hand can go up if you did last time, or stay down. You could pump a little bit with the front leg, a little bend, a little straighten. All kinds of options here. And we're going to make our way back. So start to turn back forward, pivot onto the back of the foot, and go into warrior two. Turning the back foot out. Here we go, all the way up. Virabhadrasana 2. And explore, see if you can get nice and deep into the front leg, but keep strongly pressing into the back leg as well. Feel your strength. And now from here we come back down. Spin in, and let's make our way back to down dog. Inhale, come forward to plank, and exhale, lower down to your stomach. So core is not just the front, core is also our back. We want to keep the back really strong. So bring the hands by your hips, and from here, roll your shoulders up onto your back. Inhale, lift your chest, your arms, and you're looking downward. So you have a long neck. You can float the legs up a little if you'd like. Pausing, holding, and release down. And again, lift your shoulders, lift your arms, lift your chest, add the legs, and we're going to change the arms this time. You certainly can stay right where you are. Or for a little more challenge, you could bring your arms to cactus pose, still looking down, shoulder blades merge on the back. For a little more challenge, you could extend your arms forward. Bring them back to cactus if you're going there. And then relax everything down in cactus pose. Let your chin rest on the floor. And just pause. And then bring your hands beside your chest. Please curl your toes under, lift up and come back to a child's pose, knees wide. Sitting back, let your forehead rest on the floor. And we're starting our descent now, our winding down. Slowly lift up, and let's transition onto your back side here. So come all the way around onto your back. And just take a moment here with your knees bent. Create a little space, a little pocket of space under your low back. And let your hands rest on your belly. Eyes can close. And if it's even more comfortable, sometimes it's very restorative here, just to let your knees fall inward and rest upon one another, just lightly. We need each other to survive, to exist. As a human race, we know this, that we need to get along with our loved ones and with everyone that we interact with. Sometimes that's easier than others. And as yogis, with a heightened sense of awareness, we learn more and more about ourselves, our reactive tendencies, our triggers, what makes us want to poke other people. And how do we react when we get poked or pricked? Hopefully we can learn to respond from a place of understanding and compassion and love. Open your legs out now if they're together, and then just keep them apart as you bring your knees towards your chest and hold your shins. And just draw the knees on up in a wide position. And then keep the legs wide as you place the feet back to the outer edges of the mat. And let both of your legs fall to the left into a windshield wiper. Just both legs over. You can stretch your right arm over your head. And then lifting both legs up. And float to the second side as you switch your arms now. Left arm over the head. All into the cadence of your breath. Come back to center. One last time. Pick your feet up, bring your knees in. So you're bringing them out on either side of your torso. You might feel the pelvis, the low back lift off the floor slightly. And then lower the feet on down. It's time for Shavasana, so you can go to legs extended in Shavasana, or perhaps you want to put your legs up the wall at home if that feels right. I'm going to hold space for you in an upright position. I invite you to really stay with the practice now through this posture, which is so, so important. Let yourself get comfortable there. If you need to put on a shirt, cover up your feet. And just let the eyes close. And savor these next minutes. Let them fuel you for the rest of your day, the rest of your weekend. This intentional time of being awake, yet resting deeply. You might guide your busy mind into your breath. Many times the mind takes off to that place of, I need to be doing. See if you can still treasure and hold on to the state of being right now. Being still, being awake, being aware. Feeling the breath go in, and the breath go out. Your pelvis get heavier, your legs heavy. As you release deeper into a sense of releasing and letting go. I'm going to share a reading with you from Jeff Foster. Continue to rest and receive these words. Excuse me. This is entitled, "The Medicine is Now." The medicine is now. Let your present experience become the most fascinating thing in all the universe. Whatever is arising in this moment, whether it's confusion, fear, anger, pain, or just a sense of not knowing which path to take, let this very movement be captivating, enthralling. Let it fill all space with this essence. Allow it in completely, and don't judge its existence, whatever it is. And if you can't allow it in, if there is a struggle to allow, wonderful. Allow that too. Allow the non-allowing. Accept your inability to accept a single damn thing. Let even that be fascinating, as it was when you were a little baby and destinations mattered less. Let the whirlpool of this moment become a stream, and let the stream become a raging river, and let the river flow into the ocean. And realize that the very thing you were fighting against was not separate from that vast intelligence we call life. It was only an intelligent cry for complete attention. Water or consciousness can take any form: whirlpools, lakes, canals, rivers, oceans, for it is all there is. Resistance is futile when you know you are everything. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. Now is the only path. The wound contains all the medicine. This is love beyond the speaking of it. Beginning to drift back to a deeper breath now. And starting to move your fingers, your toes, your arms. Bringing the knees in towards your chest as you're ready. Resting on your right side. Pushing yourself on up to seat. Bringing the hands together in front of your heart center, taking a bow. And as you move into your weekend and into the next week and beyond, we just have this little image of the porcupine in our mind, being really conscious and aware of how we're interacting with our other little porcupine friends. The best relationship is not the one that brings together perfect people. The best is when each individual learns to live with the imperfections of others and can admire the other person's good qualities. We need each other to survive. Bow to the light in each of you Namaste. Thank you for joining class today, everyone. Have a great weekend. And if you'd like to join me on Monday mornings, we're having a free meditation now. Monday mornings at 9 o'clock. It's called Community Calm, and it's a great way to start your week. So if you'd like to join that, just send me an email and I'll send you the link to the Community Calm Zoom. And thank you all so much. If there's any comments, if we had any technical difficulty today, let me know. I'd like to be aware of that. But have a great Saturday. And enjoy the sunshine. Nice to have you guys here. Thanks, everyone. Okie dokie. Bye, Patrice. Have a great day.